My GF said her best friend was like family, but they had a drunk ONS before we got together. When he returned from UK, his GF caught them making out. I, 29M, need to get this off my chest because I feel like I'm going crazy. Long post ahead, but I need to include all the details to paint the full picture. I met Rachel, 28F, last year at an indie rock concert through our mutual friend Mike. She was standing near the stage wearing a vintage band t-shirt, and we started talking about music. We had this instant connection. You know the type where you feel like you've known someone forever? We exchanged numbers and started hanging out in the same friend group. For the next 6 months, we were in this weird situationship that I still can't properly define. We weren't officially dating, but we acted like a couple in every way. We texted constantly throughout the day, shared everything about our lives, and even said I love you. We'd spend weekends together, cook dinner, watch movies, and act completely domestic. The only reason we weren't official was that Rachel said she had just gotten out of a long relationship and needed time to heal. Looking back, this should have been my first red flag. During this time, I met most of her friends except for Sean, 28M. Rachel talked about him constantly. He was her best friend since high school. They went to college together, and she considered him family. She had all these stories about how Sean helped her through her parents' divorce in college, or how she supported him when his mom got sick. They seemed to have this deep bond that I admired from the stories she told. When we finally made things official after 6 months, Rachel dropped this bomb on me. She confessed that about a month before we became official, she had slept with Sean. She said it was a drunken mistake after their friend's birthday party. According to her, they both immediately regretted it and agreed never to speak of it again. She claimed she told me because she wanted complete honesty in our relationship. The timing of this confession coincided with Sean's move to the UK for work, which Rachel said was completely unrelated to what happened between them. She assured me it was a one-time thing and that Sean was like a brother to her. I was hurt, but since we weren't officially together when it happened, I tried to be understanding. Plus, Sean was moving thousands of miles away, so I figured it wouldn't be an issue. Rachel and Sean stayed in touch after he moved. They'd have these long calls every few weeks, which Rachel said were just catching up about life, their friend group back home, and his adventures in London. I noticed she'd be in a weird mood after these calls, but I chalked it up to her missing her best friend. Everything was going great in our relationship otherwise. We moved in together after 8 months of dating, adopted a cat together, and even started talking about future plans. Rachel got along great with my family, especially my sister who's the same age as her. We had date nights, went on weekend trips, and everything seemed perfect. Then 3 months ago, Sean announced he was moving back to the US for a job opportunity in our city. Rachel was ecstatic and immediately started planning a dinner to welcome him back. She spent days planning the menu, cleaning the apartment, and talking about how excited she was to have her best friend back. The dinner itself is when things started falling apart. Sean brought his British girlfriend Kate, 30F, who he'd met in London. Kate was this gorgeous, sophisticated woman who works as a pediatric nurse. She had these amazing stories about working in London hospitals and traveling around Europe. She seemed genuinely nice and tried really hard to connect with Rachel, but Rachel was acting bizarre the whole evening. She barely touched the food she'd spent hours preparing. Every time Kate would touch Sean's arm or laugh at his jokes, Rachel would get this look on her face like she'd tasted something sour. She kept interrupting Kate's stories with her own memories of Sean from high school or college, almost like she was trying to prove she knew him better. After they left, Rachel started making these weird comments about Kate. She said things like Sean usually dated more ambitious women, or that Kate seemed kind of basic for him. When I pointed out that Kate seemed nice and had a great career helping kids, Rachel got defensive and accused me of having a crush on Kate. Things got progressively worse after that. Rachel started spending more time on her phone, always texting someone. If I walked into the room, she'd quickly lock her screen or switch apps. She began working late more often and having impromptu dinner plans with old friends that she never mentioned before. Our relationship started feeling different. Rachel became distant and moody. She stopped sharing details about her day like she used to. When we were together, she seemed physically present but mentally somewhere else. If I tried to talk about it, she'd accuse me of being paranoid or controlling. Last week, she told me she had to work late again. I was at my office when I got a call from Kate. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her at first. She had gone home early because of a migraine and found Rachel and Sean making out on her couch. There was a huge fight, and Kate broke things off with Sean right there. I've tried calling Rachel multiple times, but she won't pick up. I left voicemails demanding an explanation, each one getting angrier than the last. I texted Sean too, but got radio silence from both of them. The worst part is that most of Rachel's stuff is at my place since we live together. I don't know what to do with it all. I feel like such an idiot. All those late night calls to catch up, all those sudden work emergencies and dinner plans. Everything makes sense now. I keep thinking back to all the times Rachel insisted Sean was like a brother to her. Was she lying the whole time? Was our entire relationship just her killing time until Sean came back? The lease situation is particularly stressful because we just renewed it last month. Both our names are on it now. I'm sitting here surrounded by all her things, our shared memories, even the stupid cat we adopted together, feeling like my whole world just imploded. I need advice on how to handle this situation. Should I wait for Rachel to contact me and explain herself? Should I start packing up her stuff? What do I do about the lease? Any suggestions would be appreciated. Edit. Thank you all for the supportive messages and advice. I've decided to take some time to process everything before making any decisions. I'll update when I have more information. Update 1 first. I want to thank everyone who commented on my original post. Your support and advice really helped me navigate through these past few days. A lot has happened since then, and none of it is good. Kate reached out to me yesterday morning. She texted asking if we could meet for coffee, saying she had some things I needed to know. We met at this quiet cafe downtown, and honestly, I wasn't prepared for what she told me. Kate looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. She apologized for the way she broke the news to me over the phone, but then she dropped some bombshells that made everything so much worse. Apparently, Sean had started acting strange right after that dinner at our place. He became super protective of his phone, started working late more often, and was constantly texting. Kate said she noticed Rachel's number popping up frequently, but didn't think much of it because Rachel was his best friend, and Sean had always been open about their friendship before. What really got me was when Kate showed me some of the text messages she found on Sean's iPad. Rachel had been calling Sean almost daily, often during her lunch break or when she told me she was working late. They had been planning these meetups for weeks. Kate found messages going back to the day after our dinner, with Rachel saying things like she couldn't stop thinking about him, and how seeing him with Kate made her realize her feelings never went away. The worst part? Some of these meetups happened on nights when Rachel told me she was having dinner with her girlfriends or working late on a big project. There were even messages about meeting at a hotel downtown 2 weeks ago when Rachel said she had a work conference. I felt physically sick reading them. Kate then told me exactly how she discovered them. She had a terrible migraine at work and decided to go home early without telling Sean. When she walked in, Rachel and Sean were on their couch, and from what Kate described, it was clear this wasn't their first time together. Kate said they both looked shocked, but not exactly guilty, more like they were finally caught doing something they'd been doing for a while. When Kate confronted them, Sean had the nerve to say that he and Rachel had unresolved feelings they needed to explore. He actually tried to explain it like it was some romantic movie plot about long-lost love. Rachel, on the other hand, just grabbed her purse and left without saying a word. Kate kicked Sean out that night. Apparently, he kept trying to explain how their connection was complicated and how Kate wouldn't understand their history. Rachel still hasn't contacted me directly. Her sister Amy came by yesterday to pick up some of her things. Get this, Amy actually tried to defend Rachel, saying that Rachel and Sean had a complicated history that predated both Kate and me. She said they had always been in love but never got the timing right. When I asked why Rachel didn't just wait for Sean instead of starting a relationship with me, Amy just shrugged and said, "Sometimes life is messy." I lost it at that point and told Amy to take all of Rachel's stuff and make sure Rachel never contacts me again. I packed everything of hers I could find into boxes, clothes, books, photos, everything. Even found a journal she kept that I was tempted to read but decided against it. I'm not stooping to their level. The lease situation was stressing me out, but I got lucky there. I talked to the landlord, and since Rachel never officially changed her address on her ID, her name isn't actually on the lease. Small victories, I guess. Kate and I ended up talking for hours at the cafe. She moved here from London for Sean, leaving behind her family, friends, and a great job at a top hospital. Now she's stuck in a new country where she barely knows anyone. We both feel like idiots for not seeing the signs earlier. All those late-night calls, the sudden work emergencies, the way they looked at each other at dinner. It all seems so obvious now. I've been getting messages from our mutual friends, and that's been its own special kind of hell. Some are saying I should hear Rachel's side of the story. A few are actually defending her, saying that sometimes old feelings resurface, and it's not really cheating if there are genuine emotions involved. One friend even suggested that both Kate and I should be more understanding, because Rachel and Sean clearly have a deep connection that transcends current relationships. I blocked all of them. The hardest part is going through our apartment and finding all these reminders of our relationship. Every photo, every gift, every memory is now tainted. Was she thinking about him when we went on vacation last month? When we adopted our cat? When she said, "I love you" every night? I keep thinking back to all those times she talked about Sean, wondering if she was comparing us in her head. Kate told me something that really stuck with me. She said we're not victims of love or fate or whatever romantic bullshit Rachel and Sean are telling themselves. We're victims of selfish people who were too cowardly to be honest about their feelings and too selfish to care about hurting others. I'm angry, but mostly I'm just tired. Tired of thinking about it. Tired of finding more evidence of their betrayal. Tired of mutual friends taking sides. I just want to move on, but it's hard when you realize your entire relationship might have been a lie. For now, I'm focusing on work and trying to keep busy. I changed the locks yesterday and blocked Rachel's number. The cat is staying with me. I was the one who actually took care of her anyway. I'll update if anything significant happens, but right now I just need time to process everything. Edit. Thank you all again for the support. Reading your comments helps me feel less crazy about this whole situation. Update 2. I didn't expect to be posting another update, but things have taken an interesting turn. First, thank you to everyone who sent supportive messages after my last post. Your advice really helped me get through some tough days. After everything that happened, Kate and I kept in touch. We'd meet for coffee every few days to talk about our situations. It helped to have someone who understood exactly what we were going through. When her lease was ending last month, she mentioned she was planning to move back to London. She'd been struggling to afford her apartment on a single income, and the whole situation with Sean had made her feel isolated in a city where she barely knew anyone. I had a spare room since Rachel moved out, and honestly, the apartment felt too empty. Without really thinking it through, I offered Kate the room until she figured out her next steps. It made sense financially for both of us, and we'd become good friends through this whole mess. Living with Kate has been surprisingly easy. She's neat, considerate, and actually contributes to household chores, something Rachel rarely did. We often end up staying up late, talking about everything from our previous relationships to our careers and families. She's helped me see a lot of red flags I missed with Rachel, and I've helped her process her feelings about Sean. Last week, Rachel finally broke her silence. She sent this long email about how she never meant to hurt anyone. She wrote about how she and Sean Sean had this deep connection since high school, but they were always too scared to act on it. According to her, seeing Sean with Kate made her realize she couldn't keep denying her feelings. She said they're now officially together and living in Sean's apartment. She asked for my forgiveness and said she hopes one day I'll understand that sometimes love is complicated. I didn't respond. What's there to say? She and Sean deserve each other. Sean tried reaching out to Kate too. He sent flowers to our apartment with this dramatic note about destiny and true love. Kate read the first line, laughed, and threw both the flowers and the note in the trash. We ordered pizza and had a movie night instead. The mutual friend situation has gotten ridiculous. The ones who took Rachel's side have been posting these philosophical quotes about soulmates and destiny on social media, tagging Rachel and Sean in everything. They share photos of Rachel and Sean together, calling them relationship goals, and talking about how some loves are worth fighting for. Kate and I just roll our eyes and scroll past it. Living together has made us both realize how much we were settling in our previous relationships. Kate told me how Sean would always make her feel insecure about her accent or tease her about British customs. I shared how Rachel would dismiss my interests or make fun of my hobbies. It's nice to have someone who actually listens and shows interest in what you're saying. Kate decided to stay in the US after landing a great position at a local children's hospital. They were impressed with her experience in London, and the salary is better than what she was making before. She's starting to build her own friend group through work, and I've introduced her to some of my friends who didn't take Rachel's side. We've fallen into this comfortable routine. We take turns cooking dinner, go grocery shopping together, and even started a Sunday morning running tradition. My cat absolutely adores her, which is funny because the cat never liked Rachel much. The other day, one of Rachel's friends ran into us at a restaurant and later posted about how we were being pathetic and trying to get revenge by hanging out together. Kate and I just laughed about it. We're just two people who got screwed over by people we trusted, trying to move forward with our lives. The best part about living with Kate is that there's no drama, no hidden agendas, just honest friendship. We've both been through enough lies to appreciate straightforward communication. Plus, she makes amazing tea and introduced me to British comedy shows, so that's a bonus. I know some people might think it's weird that we're living together, but it works for us. We're both healing and helping each other move forward. Sometimes the worst situations bring unexpected friendships into your life. I'll update if anything significant happens, but for now, life is finally starting to feel normal again. Edit. Thanks again for all the support. It's nice to know there are people out there who understand. Update 3. I never thought I'd be writing this update, but here we are. Life really does work in mysterious ways. A lot has happened since my last post, and I want to share it with the community that helped me through one of the toughest times in my life. Kate and I grew closer over the past few months. It happened gradually, so naturally that we didn't even realize it at first. Movie nights turned into cuddling on the couch. Our running sessions ended with longer breakfast conversations. We started holding hands while grocery shopping without even thinking about it. 3 months ago, after a particularly nice dinner at home, we talked about our feelings. Neither of us planned it, but we both felt the same way. We decided to give dating a try, knowing it could complicate things, but feeling it was worth the risk. Dating Kate has been completely different from my relationship with Rachel. There's no drama, no hidden agendas, no walking on eggshells. Kate is direct about her feelings and expectations. We talk through problems instead of letting them fester. It's refreshing to be with someone who values honesty above everything else. Last week I proposed. It wasn't some elaborate plan, just us at home after a normal day. We were cooking dinner together, laughing about some silly British TV show she got me hooked on, and I just knew. I had been carrying the ring around for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. Turns out, the perfect moment was just us being us. She said yes immediately, and we spent the evening calling our families. Her parents are flying in next week to meet everyone, and my family is thrilled. My sister, who never liked Rachel, absolutely adores Kate. Of course, news travels fast in our social circle. Rachel found out through mutual friends and sent another email. This time she accused us of orchestrating the whole thing to hurt her and Sean. She said we were being spiteful, and that our relationship couldn't be real because it started from pain. Kate and I didn't bother responding. Some people have said we moved too fast, but when you know, you know. Plus, we've seen each other at our absolute worst and still chose each other. That means something. Kate is everything Rachel wasn't. Honest, straightforward, and genuinely caring. She supports my goals and celebrates my successes without making them about her. We're planning a small wedding next spring. Nothing fancy, just close friends and family. We're thinking of having it in a garden venue, with elements of both American and British traditions. Kate's parents are helping with the planning, and my mom has already adopted Kate as the daughter she always wanted. Life is funny sometimes. A year ago, I was devastated, thinking my world had ended because of Rachel's betrayal. Now, I'm happier than I've ever been. Kate and I often joke about how we should send Rachel and Sean a thank you card. If they hadn't been such terrible people, we might never have found each other. It's strange to think that something so painful led to something so beautiful. Kate and I understand each other in a way we never did with our ex-partners. We've both been through the same hurt, and maybe that's why we're so committed to being honest with each other. To everyone who supported me through this journey, thank you. Your advice and kind words helped me navigate through one of the hardest periods of my life. Sometimes the worst things lead you to the best things, and you just have to trust the process. This will be my final update. Kate and I are moving forward, focusing on our future together, and leaving the past where it belongs, in the past. Edit. Thanks for all the congratulations and well wishes. You guys are amazing.